And that's a major blow to the establishment because, when a governor of a big state like Florida starts endorsing Trump, that's one more crack in the dike for them, they have to try to, stick their finger and keep the dike from falling apart. So,
right. I
was happy about that.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive, Florida, and everybody knew. I mean, all the polls coming out of Florida showed that, there was no competition there to Donald Trump had it going, I mean, he was basically winning in all the polls. I think there was one poll that was run by some Fugazi group, but anyway, let's go to the call boards here because I have the lines are jam packed. I want to welcome in Donna from Illinois. Welcome to the Silent Majority.
Yeah, hi, this is Donna from Bunker Hill, Illinois.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Donna.
Hi, I'm doing good. I think the race, at the end of the day, it's all going to come down to Hillary versus Trump. And I want to see Trump start going in hard on Hillary. There's so much material there with all the investigations that she's under. And then from a personal point of view, too, to remind the people what a disgrace the Clintons were the last time that they were in the White House. I remember at one point they were actually caught with some furniture that belonged to the White House in their house, and the FBI had to go pick it up.
Right.
And then also, I'd like to see Donald Trump touch on these conspiracy theories about one world government, new world order. And I think some of that might be playing in a lot to what's going on behind the scenes because Donald Trump is self-funding. And these others that are, taking shady money in that can be controlled by these people.
Well, Donna, last night Donald Trump did start attacking Hillary. Last night, I believe he said something regarding Hillary. He says, I haven't even started on her or something like that. Wait till I start on her. He's ready. He's ready to start attacking her. She, I think he said something to the effect that she's terrible. I don't know. But he might have a lot of dirt. He might have so much dirt on her that, because the people say they were pretty close. So, I mean, that's why I think she fears him.
I did heard him say that he hasn't even got started on her yet.
Yeah. So I think he hasn't even got started. Go ahead, Bill.
One thing that you've got to understand about this is that Donald Trump does timing very well. Okay. And he doesn't come, into the bar with both six guns blazing, He times his shots. And I think that strategically, Donald Trump is better off facing Hillary than he is facing Bernie. Because Bernie is very unknown. And you've got huge millennial support for this guy. And he can become a real movement candidate, even though he's a crazy socialist. We got some crazy people in this country. So I think that also Bernie doesn't have a long track record that we can go after like we can go after Hillary. Right. So I think that Trump really wants Hillary to win the nomination.
Right.
So I don't think Trump is going to go too hard after Hillary until after she wins the nomination because he's better off facing her.
Right.
And then once she wins the nomination, then we'll come out with the big guns. That's just my opinion of it.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna take one more call. Thank you. I want to thank Donna for calling. I want to take one more call. You listen to the Silent Majority. The number to call is 347-338-1775. I want to take one more call before I get to my other guest that's coming on, Gavin Mitchell. No relation to Bill Mitchell. I want to take this caller, Josh from Springfield, Oregon. Welcome to the Silent Majority.
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on? You have a question? You have a question or a comment?
Oh, we were gonna talk a little bit about the neocons. It's interesting because Charles Krauthammer's obviously been leaking that he's a neocon, and one of the things that's interesting is that Ted Cruz is concealing the fact that he's a neoconservative.
For the audience that may not know what a neocon is, what's a neocon?
Okay, so the neocons, the Bush family were neocons. They took responsibility for collapsing Russia's economy in Charlie Wilson's war. Mm-hmm. Now, the thing is that Russia is Vladimir Putin is currently driving Muslim immigrants into Europe from Syria. So he's retaliating for Charlie Wilson's war. Ted Cruz is a closeted neocon. He's concealing the fact that he's a neoconservative, which is why Charles Krauthammer and all of the other neoconservatives are backing Ted Cruz.
Okay. What do you think about that, Bill?
Well, I think that I agree with Donald Trump. The way I connected this whole neocon thing is when we tried to go in and take out Saddam Hussein and do some nation building. When that whole thing was going on, I was trying to back the president, but I was thinking, man, isn't Saddam the only one that's keeping Iran in check out there?
Right.
I mean, if we take out Saddam, who's going to keep Iran from running over the whole area and taking over? And that's kind of what happened. So I think that Trump is obviously not a neocon at all. And I think that's maybe why they're opposing him as well.
Right, Josh. You also have a blog, correct? You want to promote that blog quickly before I get to my next guest?
Absolutely. Basically, what the blog is about is that, and I sent you guys a link. It's that political correctness mimics female communication rituals, and Deborah Tannen she did the science on male communication rituals and female communication rituals.
Okay.
What they were trying to do is they were trying to force female communication rituals on Americans in order to feminize the way that we think. Now, Donald Trump is using masculine communication rituals because political correctness and female communication rituals edit the expression set of what can be communicated.
Wow, that's deep.
Which means that it creates a meritocracy of pleasantness, which means that certain subjects are inadmissible because the subjects themselves are unpleasant.
Right.
Which means that you can be a lying, incorrect creep, and you can still succeed in a meritocracy of pleasantness,
right,
which is political correctness.
Okay, so where can we go? Where can we go to check out that blog? Can you give the address?
Yeah, it's a free WordPress blog. It's praxisratio.wordpress.com. That's praxisratio.wordpress.com.
Thank you. All right, thank you, brother. Thank you for calling.
Likewise.
All right, I want to get to my next guest. I'm sorry. You're listening to The Sound Majority here on New Media Patriot Radio. The number to call is 347-338-1775. I promise all the calls I will get to you, but I want to welcome in right now Mr. Gavin Mitchell. No relation to Bill Mitchell. Welcome to The Sound Majority, buddy. How you been?
Hey, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Gavin Mitchell is, when I discovered him, he reminded me of Andrew Wilkow. He had that kind of tone and that kind of intelligence. And, he's
got a great name.
Yeah, he does. He's got a great last name.
I love his name. Yeah.
So, Bill, Gavin has a show on the ICRN network, the conservativeradionetwork.com. He's also being syndicated out of, an AM station, right? Is that correct, Gavin, out of, Texas?
News and Information 570 KLIF in the Dallas market. Yes, sir.
And what are the days there? On Saturdays, right?
Saturday nights, 8 o'clock.
Awesome. So let's get right into it, Gavin. Tell us about your feelings about the post Tuesday primaries. What's your take on the whole thing?
Well, let's start on the left if we're going to break yesterday down.
Sure.
And it's something that I've claimed since the onset is that the left it's a rigged deal. It's all pomp and circumstances, and it's because the left has this super delegate component attached to it. And Bernie Sanders can run the race of his life. He came from nowhere. He came as just a puppet candidate to oppose Hillary Clinton so the establishment can push her through. He's gained a little traction, but it's moot traction because she has this whole plethora of super delegates. It really doesn't matter what Bernie Sanders does from this point forward. That race is over. And the fact that she was able to win every contest yesterday, Missouri's still out, I'm looking, but she won, and she won convincingly, especially in Florida. It's all show. And actually, this show is benefiting the right, in my opinion. And I think you would agree, Chris, because what it's doing is it's exposing her weaknesses. It's exposing where the right can attack her come general election time. And so I find it comical just what the left is trying to do and how they're doing it, and the whole layer of super delegates just compromises the integrity of the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And when we lean to the right, we talk about integrity. We had Curly come out, and I heard you mention him earlier.
He says,
Mo and Larry are nowhere.
This is before we get to that. I mean, this is absurd. I mean, I'm reading the article like 10 minutes before the show started to air, and I want to pull my hair out. He's saying that basically all the delegates on the Republican side are super delegates, and that rule's been in play since 1980, I believe, was the last time that it was rescinded. I think it was 1986. It was rescinded. Hold on.
Well, let's
yeah, go ahead. But basically, go ahead. Tell me about what Curly said.
Because I first got a hold of this article, I think 2 days ago, and I was like, my goodness, this can't be right. He's saying the whole thing is a word you used earlier, a fugazi.
Fugazi.
Right? There's no way this whole thing is a joke. Mm-hmm. And he came out on one of the NBC affiliates today clearing this up. And here's the clarification I left with, and who knows, he may change his tune again tomorrow. But what I left with is he's from a state that doesn't hold a caucus or a primary. And as a result, he doesn't have a pledge to any candidate going into the convention. And there are a number of states and territories that are that way. There's no loyalty from those delegates because there was no contest. If you live in a state, if you were a delegate from a state that had a primary contest, whether it was a primary vote or a caucus or a hybrid thereof, then you do have an obligation per state rules. And I think you and I discussed it on your show previously, the difference between a caucus and a primary.
Right. Yeah, we
what
did.
matters here is the primary is ran by the state, the caucus is ran by the party. That's all that matters at this point.
Right.
And what happens is they have these affiliations if there was a contest leading up to the convention. So when they go, per state rules, they have obligations. Now, once that first ballot is done, it stops being a contested convention if somebody doesn't have the required amount, 1237, and it becomes a brokered convention at that point, which means all bets are off. People start brokering for votes. New candidates can be introduced, so on and so forth.
So there is a difference between a brokered and a contested convention.
Correct. A contested convention is where the delegates still have to honor their pledges, but nobody has reached a majority. They may have a plurality, but they don't have the majority needed to win the candidacy. And so that's a contested convention where they're competing for those delegates that do not have obligations towards other candidates, like Curly himself, coming out of, I believe, North Dakota.
Okay.
If nobody gets the majority of the delegates on that first vote, then it becomes a brokered convention in which all bets are off.
I get it. So let me ask you a question. What happens to Marco Rubio's delegates? Do they become unbinded? Are they not? Yes,
they have zero obligation at this point. Now they can elect to do the right thing and follow Marco's lead wherever he may go. Mm-hmm. And Marco's still hanging out there, right? We haven't heard anything from him since he suspended his campaign. We've heard things from his aides saying, hey, if you're a true conservative, you need to go with Ted Cruz. But we haven't heard anything from Marco.
Okay.
But even if Marco jumps on Ted Cruz's bandwagon, those delegates are not obligated to follow suit.
Right. I got to take a phone call.
So delegates can do whatever they want?
Yes, pretty much. I mean, it's a free-for-all. It is free reign.
Wow. So everybody's going to go. Everybody's going to go into this convention with some chips in their pockets, basically.
Yeah, and that's part of the thing is if you look at the numbers, Trump needs 53% of the remaining delegates, according to my math. That's doable for Trump, especially going into moderate states like California, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. Trump can do that. Cruz needs 77% of what's still out there. That's an uphill battle, to say the least. But if Marco takes his delegates and jumps on Cruz's bandwagon, now it's a race again.
Yeah.
And so where Rubio truly lands is going to determine whether this thing is over as of yesterday or not.
Wow, this is going to get murky. But before we go any further, I got to take some phone calls here. The phone lines are packed right now. I want to take right now Jay Medina from Dallas, Texas, your neck of the woods, Gavin. Welcome to the Silent Majority here on New Media Patriot Radio.
Yeah, I think I was just going to say something. John Boehner endorsed John Kasich. Mitch McConnell is reaching out to Ted Cruz to mend some fences so he can endorse Ted Cruz. Now I've previously mentioned on this show that Ted Cruz did a John Boehner style or Mitch McConnell style capitulation in 2013 on his filibuster. Mm-hmm. Anyone who's calling themselves a conservative should think about this. There may be some things about Donald Trump that aren't necessarily conservative, but he's honest about it. You know, he's not lying to the people saying, "Oh yeah, I'm